Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Cerita Chane, and I have my coffee with me today. Hmm. So, I think this is going to feel more like a late night conversation than a video. And honestly, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. I think one of the saddest things about being human is how easily we blame ourselves for things that were never fully in our control. Let's say, like, something ends, something changes, someone leaves, and somehow our mind immediately goes, what did I do wrong? And maybe sometimes we don't even realize it anymore. It becomes so automatic. We start carrying guilt quietly in the background of our lives. We replay old conversations while trying to sleep. We retain decisions we made months ago. We wonder if maybe things would have stayed if we were a little softer, a little calmer, a little easier to love. And honestly, I think many people are exhausted not because life is hard, but because they are constantly fighting with themselves inside their own head. I know that feeling of wishing you could go back to certain moments and redo everything differently. But life doesn't really work like that, right? Some things happen once, and after that, all we can do is live with the outcome. And I think acceptance becomes difficult because deep down, part of us still hopes reality will suddenly change. We still hope people come back. We still hope old versions of life return. We still hope maybe tomorrow we'll wake up and finally understand why everything happened the way it did. But sometimes there is no immediate explanations. Sometimes things simply end. And I know that sounds heavy, but strangely, I think there is peace in accepting that too. Because the moment you stop trying to control everything, you finally have space to breathe again. I used to think acceptance meant giving up. Like if I accepted something, it meant I didn't care enough to fight for it anymore. But now, I think acceptance is actually self respect. It's looking at your reality honestly and saying, this hurts me, but I don't want to destroy myself over it anymore. And I think that's such an important decision because constantly blaming yourself changes the way you see your own existence. You start treating yourself like a problem that always ruins things. You become too harsh with yourself. Meanwhile, maybe life was never trying to punish you in the first place. Maybe some things were only meant to stay temporarily. Maybe some endings happened because your story needed to continue somewhere else. And I know it's hard to see that when you are in pain, when you are hurting, all you can focus on is what disappeared. But later, sometimes much later, you start realizing that certain things ending actually save you from becoming stuck in place you had already outgrown. And maybe that's what takdir feels like sometimes. Not always understandable, not always very lucky, but slowly leading you somewhere you couldn't see before. I also think people misunderstanding healing. Healing is not becoming someone who never feels sad again. Sometimes healing is just no longer waking up angry at yourself every day. It's no longer reopening old wounds just to search for new reasons to feel guilty. It's allowing the past to exist without letting it define your entire future. And honestly, yeah, that takes time, a lot of time sometimes. There are still random moments where memories come back unexpectedly. Maybe through a song, a place, a smell, even the weather. And suddenly, you remember versions of yourself you thought you already left behind. But that doesn't mean you are healing. It just means you are human, and humans remember. I think what matters most is learning not to abandon yourself while going through difficult seasons because life is already hard enough. You don't need to become your own enemy too. Okay, so if lately you've been carrying disappointment, regret, confusion, or guilt inside your heart, maybe this is your sign to be a little gentler with yourself. Not everything painful happened because you were unworthy. Some things happened because life was moving, because people change, because time changed, because God is writing a story bigger than the small part we can currently understand. And maybe peace begins when we stop demanding immediate answers from every painful thing. And anyway, thank you for spending this little cavi conversation with me today. This is Cerita Chane, and I'll see you again in the next story. Bye bye.